You know, guys, that little incident at the museum last week got me thinking. We should have more fun with these reviews and not worry about others trying to mess things up for us. So how about this? Let's do this review from space and blast our voices so the entire universe can hear us. There's no way that security guard is going to stop us from all the way up here. Any questions? No? Well then let's flip the switch and get this party started. Broadcasting from the moon in 3, 2, 1...
What's up, everybody? This is Nation98 here.
What's up, everybody? It's ICanSnake.
Greetings, everyone. This is CC Trainor-Ling.
What's going on, everyone? It's James the Con Man, and my hedgehog likes to party all the time,
And so everyone, without further ado, let's jump right into the plot. So the plot here is after hearing that the other pets think that he is too serious all the time, Russell decides to be more fun and not worry about everything, and thus creates a more free-spirited alter ego known as Fun Russell. Meanwhile, Blythe helps Sue through an identity crisis after she starts imitating Blythe's fashion style and personality.
So my first positive is the first song in this episode, Be Yourself. It's really a great song and definitely the better of the two from this episode, in my opinion. It's in my top 10 favorite LPS songs in total, whereas Fun Being Fun, for a retrospective, is in my top 10 least favorite LPS songs. The harmonies between Blythe and Sue are really amazing in the song, and it works great together. The song also emphasizes the plot of the episode, where Blythe is too modest to accept her accomplishments and have someone else copy her, as well as Blythe trying to show Sue that every human being is different and we all have our strengths and weaknesses, so you should just focus less on your weaknesses and focus more on your strengths to get you going more places in life.
I simply couldn't agree more. I really do love this song a lot. I really got to give a lot of credit to Ashley and Kira for this little duet they did. I think they sing perfectly well together, and I really love all the visuals in this video. Everything you see, it really sums up the song and the plot, just like Snake said, and I think they do it very well. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Sue looks pretty good with Blythe's hairstyle.
Oh yeah.
You guys are gonna hate me for this. I was not a huge fan of this one.
Kind of have to agree with you a bit on those.
The music itself is fine. Harmonies and all that are great, definitely gotta give it up to Ashley and Kira for that, but moral of the song, message of the song is just so overdone. It's tougher than a $2 steak, and honestly, it's gonna become a catchphrase. I can feel it. You could have easily have done without it. It's just a little extraneous. But then again, I thought the whole B plot was kind of naff anyway, so this is just kind of the cherry on top of the naff sundae. But I'll elaborate more in the negatives.
One of my positives is also the other song of this episode, Fun Being Fun. You wouldn't normally expect Russell to be this eccentric, I'll get to that positive later on, but just him singing this really delightful song and showing that he can have a really adventurous side or a party side to himself, it really shows just how dynamic he really is, and it shows how willing he is to commit to being something that the pets really wish he would be more of, and that would be a little bit more laid back, a lot more fun, and I think the song really does a good job at emphasizing that, and I really do think it's one of the best songs of season 1.
I'm with Cece here. This is actually the way better to Be Yourself for me, because first of all, it's ska. I love ska. It's an awesome genre. It's very underdone in shows like this, and I'll be honest, whenever I first heard it, I was dancing along with it, and I barely dance with these kind of songs, but nope, I was just dancing in my seat. All of the lyrics are nice and quirky. The song itself is very quirky and everything, and I actually think this one fit rather well. Bravo to everyone involved. This is definitely one of the top 5 for me for season 1 in terms of music.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you guys on that. I don't have too much to say about the song, because then it would just be way too redundant. But, you guys nailed it right on the head of my opinion of the song. It is fantastic.
You like it because it's ska too, don't you?
Definitely, yeah. Because I've heard a few songs that are in that genre, but they're so underrated. And not to mention Sam Vincent singing, which is pretty cool.
Sam, if you're watching this, we love you, dude.
Well, my next positive would have to be, I guess you can say, one of the 2 stars of this episode, Russell. Him being able to go through this instant, well, maybe not instant, but this very quick but gradual transition from being all uptight to a lot more laid back is something that I really appreciate, and just seeing him act that crazy with all the other pets saying, "Eat the fun, Russell," it really did get a lot of laughs out of me, and Russell really did steal the show with his more fun alter ego of himself. And I guess this is why this is one of my favorite Russell episodes of all time.
Definitely. Plus, you gotta love that little Hawaiian shirt he has on. It's kind of what seals the deal. But in a way, this kind of reminds me of episode of if you guys remember Fraggle Rock, there was an episode where Boober, who was kind of seen as, I don't want to say emo, but kind of the very pessimistic one of the group, to where he even has a book of diseases that he reads about. He has a fun alter ego named Sidebottom, which is distinguished by the kind of hat he wears. That's what I was thinking of this entire episode, is this, Fun Russell with Sidebottom, while regular Russell is, you could say a mix of Boober and Danny Tanner from Full House.
Yeah, and the other thing too, you can't forget about those awesome sunglasses.
And all it takes is one Mary Frances to gradually change him back to his more normal self.
Yeah.
Because, the status quo's gotta be restored somehow.
Well, I wouldn't really say that the status quo really returned, because as you see in future episodes such as In the Loop, Russell does go over the deep end with his sanity sort of breaks down, and he does sort of do what he wouldn't normally do, but hey, that's what makes him a very dynamic character. He isn't afraid to go there with his wild side.
Point taken, I was just making a joke.
Right. I guess my last positive would have to be the other star of this episode, Sue. Now, the first time I saw this episode, I thought it was going to be rather predictable in every way I thought, but after watching the episode and seeing what Sue was going through, it made me think a lot about me back in my day, because I'm sure, just like anyone else out there, we've all met that one friend that we really look up to and we really respect, and we just want to emulate them in every way that we can, because we see them as, I guess you can say, perfection at its finest. And I understand that Blythe was sort of feeling a little uneasy about someone looking up to her as an idol, but I definitely understand what Sue was going through, so I don't falter on that. I think this episode proved that she doesn't need to be like Blythe to be this great person, because she's already a great character as it is, and might I say a highly underused one. She's really athletic. She's just an all-around good friend. I really hope that she gets more episodes to herself, because she really deserves it.
She really needs more episodes.
Agreed. And this is someone who says that the B plot just really didn't stack up to the A plot. That being said, can we please have some decorum in this review? Because it's time for some bad news. And I'd like to kick this off with, we were talking about Be Yourself earlier, and I basically said that I wasn't a fan of this song. And I'm just going to extend it to saying the B plot was really kind of naff also. Because the whole point was, to be yourself. And while I do find it relatable, because in my high school days, there were a few of the more popular guys I want to be more like. Everyone's like that in high school. I could understand that, but it's just every other show's done it too. Every other show has their take on the be yourself plot, and unfortunately, while LOPS does do a lot of, unique takes on these tried and true sitcom storylines, this one seemed a little generic, not really up to snuff to what they usually do. And the song was just kind of the cherry on the sundae. Again, wonderfully produced, wonderfully performed and all that. It's a shame that all that talent was wasted on something that was ultimately generic and unneeded.
Well, I really wouldn't say that it's generic or unneeded. I mean, yes, I understand that it's been done before on other TV shows, but the way I see it, I really felt like it got the message across that it's really supposed to, as I've always picked up from any show that does this plot, and I really do appreciate it for being around, because like I said before, I'm sure we've all had those moments where we do have a friend where we think of them as way better than us, and we want to be just like them because we see them as perfection in our eyes. And I honestly think that there's nothing wrong with that, because we all do learn eventually that we don't have to be like our friends just to be perfect. We're perfect in our own right, and I think that's very, very important to remember.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too is that, to argue with the whole idea of it's a generic plot that's been done before in other shows. If you look at other shows, not just in other shows, but in this show particularly, the plots that have been done in this show and other shows, what hasn't been done over and over again. So
I mean, that's why I just said, it was like LPS has done other tried and true sitcom tropes before. They always do add, something new to the party. They do their own take on it. Well, this one just seemed, very by the book, very textbook. There's very little that was added. It's all just been done. And I mean this, and when I say literally every other show I've watched has done a plot like this. So really nothing special. I mean, I'm not going to take away points from the animation and the music and everything. It's just they could have done a little better with what they had.
And that was one con man's opinion.
Yes.
So, starting from the beginning of the episode, I noticed I didn't really like any of the main male pets in this episode. On both sides, they were taking things way too far. Because, like, Russell in the beginning, he's way too much of a prude. And then he took his fun way too far in the end of the episode. So it's kind of like they're going through all these extremes instead of just staying in the middle. And Sunil and Vinny were also really jerkish in the beginning of the episode when they were starting to mess up Russell's hard work when he was already finished. So even though I don't really like Russell being that much of a prude, I would personally hate going back to things to fix them again after I'd already have finished them.
You do have a point there with the male pets kind of taking things to extremes, but yeah, I don't think it was that terrible.
It just didn't sit right for me.
Yeah, just like the B plot didn't technically sit right for me, but
Yeah.
that's the good thing about these reviews. Just everyone just gives their own little opinions and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember something about Russell's little conflict here. All of the pets wanted him to be more fun and have them be more laid back. And really, if you start to think about it, it sort of would be, I guess you can say, peer pressure on Russell to, I guess you can say, conform more to what the pets see as normal fun. This kind of reminds me of that not normal episode of SpongeBob where Squidward was pressuring SpongeBob to be more normal, and SpongeBob did do that, but yes, he did take it too far, but remember, it was the enablers who caused him to do that in the first place, so really, even if Russell took it too far, it's really because the pets wanted him to become more fun, so really there's a cause and effect here that we have to look at, so I'm not going to blame Russell for what he did, and I'm not going to really blame the pets for what they did either, because it was all based on cause and effect, and that's really all there is to it. And as far as Sunil and Vinny would go, I don't blame them either because I think in their defense, it really wouldn't be a lot of fun to always hang out with a friend who's always so uptight and loves to keep things entirely organized because I guess they're right. It's just not fun to hang out with someone who's, really stuck in their ways and almost seems, I guess you can say, like a grandpa about things. The right word.
Get off my lawn!
Okay, well maybe grandpa's not the right term, but still,
Stubborn?
Yeah, it's stubborn. I'm not saying there's a problem with being stubborn from time to time, but if you're always, really stuck in your ways and really stubborn about it, I definitely wouldn't blame anybody for, I guess, trolling with you or messing up your stuff because they might get a kick out of it because they'll probably enjoy seeing you get angry. I don't know, I guess maybe that's just me.
So, overall, for me, it was a pretty good episode. This was one of the episodes that made Russell my favorite pet, obviously. The song was fantastic. The other song was fantastic, although the meaning of it was a bit okay. Overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
I hadn't watched this episode in a long time until this review, so it took me until a minute into rewatching the episode to remember what exactly this episode was about. The Sue plot was completely forgettable, but I didn't even know or remember it was even in this episode, but actually the Sue plot was the better plot from this episode. I only remember this episode due to the Russell plot because of the title, so it really left a bad taste in my mouth. Another thing though, I also caught a Twilight reference when Sue was asking Blythe all these questions in a row. One of them she asked was, who do you think is cuter, Edward or Jacob? Those two names, they're really popular in the Twilight fandom, so that's how I knew that. Another thing though, while I was rewatching this episode, when Mary Frances appeared, my reaction was there's a guest head in this episode? Since when? Oh my god, Peter knew. I'm sorry, but I legitimately completely forgot Mary Frances was even a character in the show. He's so forgettable. So, with that said, I think I would give this episode a 6 out of 10. I think the Sue plot and the song Be Yourself really saved it for me.
After watching the pilot to the series, the first regular episode of LPS I watched was Rustle Up Some Fun, an episode I found at random, and I don't regret not going in order. This episode holds a special place in my heart, and it's always going to be worth the time watching again and again. It's one of my all-time favorite Russell episodes to date, if not my number one. I love the way he acted when he decided to be Fun Russell for a while. He may be all work and no play most of the time, but this time, he's the opposite. It's good to know he has a very dynamic personality, which makes him a really great character, and even though he goes back to his old ways in later episodes, we still see his crazy side come out every once in a while, such as in The Loop. He really grew on me in this episode, just like Sue did. Now, Sue, I will say, as of this episode, proved to be a really great character, and might I say, a highly underused one. She's an exceptionally good runner and really is a good friend to Blythe and others. Wanting to copy Blythe in every regard may seem creepy to some, but to me, I actually understand. I'm sure everyone once had a friend where they wanted to be just like them, and I'm not afraid to admit that I've done what Sue was doing. What Sue did makes me strongly believe that she really respects Blythe so much to the point where she wants to emulate her, and that's great. In the end, Blythe proved that she wasn't perfect, and her friendship with Sue has remained strong ever since. I really do hope Sue gets another episode to herself like she does in Season 3. She really does deserve it. This episode is the first one to feature 2 songs. The first one, Be Yourself, sums up everything about the situation at hand, and its visuals demonstrate just how far Sue will go to be, quote, as perfect as Blythe. The second song, So Much Fun Being Fun, does the exact same thing with its lyrics and visuals just like the first song, except it focuses more on Russell's transition into being more laid back. It still amazes me that no matter how messy Russell made things, his obsessive compulsiveness on keeping things orderly didn't leak through and cause him to have a breakdown. I guess when he wanted to commit to being more fun, he really stuck to it. Now, Ekans, please post a picture of Mary Frances as I address him next. There we go, thank you. Now, I don't have much of an opinion on this pig, since he was neither too great of a guest pet, nor did he really serve too much of a purpose, except when he went missing and it helped Russell realize that being all fun and no work isn't a good thing to be. Just one last interesting note to point out, but I loved how Zoe and Pepper wore similar Carmen Miranda samba outfits like Minka in this episode, especially how the episode just before this one, Mean Isn't Your Color, featured Minka wearing the exact same outfit as before. So Ekans, if you could just put the image of Minka from Mean Isn't Your Color and the girl pets in their outfits from this episode, that'd be great. Yep. See those pictures? They really love reusing Blythe's outfits, and I approve 110%. Even Zoe jumping into Russell's arms the way she did when she said, "Hello, Russell, you're way too serious," was just so right. In short, this episode can only be described in those 2 little words Brittany said. Amazing. This episode taught 2 very important lessons. Don't be afraid to have a good time, and always remember to be yourself no matter what. Russell Up Some Fun gets a perfect 10 out of 10 from me. So until we meet again, go out there and have some fun.
Alright, A-plot was great. The song associated with that A-plot was spectacular. And my next would be the shining moment of this episode. B-plot was forgettable. B-plot song was, like I said, not bad, not badly produced or anything, just unnecessary and generic. So, I think it kind of goes down the middle, but I'm gonna be nice and give it a 7.
So with that said, next week we're going to be doing Season 2 reviews, so let's see what the randomizer gives us this week.
Bring on the randomizer!
And the next episode is Inside Job. Not bad.
Okay, alright.
Okay,
I'm
that's
I
okay.
have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Yeah, me too.
Alright, so, and this is 1998.
ICanSnake.
CC Trainor-Ling.
The laughing boy, James the Con Man.
And we will see you guys next week. Adios.
Peace out, home slices.
See you later.
Stay classy. Everclear.
Well, I guess we can explore the rest of the galaxy before heading back to Earth. You guys want to check out the... What's that? Sounds like an incoming call from our built-in Skype software. I'll see who it is.
Hey, what are you kids doing up here?
Are you seriously kidding me?
You kids are in a lot of trouble. The Earth has been rattling around because of your voices. You caused an avalanche in the Himalayas and some mountain climbers are now hurt. I'm calling the authorities right now.
What? How did he even find it? Here we go again.
Yes,